Oh, okay. We're continuing this ride through the NFC North with the Vikings, and
I wasn't built for
I'm,
this,
I'm
dude.
I wasn't I'm dead this season. This season hasn't been on my heart. The Seahawks have a lot of seasons like that, but these last four games right now, three upcoming three, it's just. Whew, anywho, we got the Vikings, and it's not looking all that well in terms of us facing them. I just want to just rack off those three stats that's like really big for this team. The Vikings, they're
They
number one in interceptions.
did you know? I think I just this just occurred to me. Can Vikings still win their division?
Yes, actually, with that loss that the Detroit had, there's a chance. There is a chance. They already locked in the playoff, though,
Yeah, they're
mind you.
they're locked in the playoffs. Um,
But not their whole division, it's still up for grabs.
yeah, because they are. Let's see.
11-2
Yeah,
to the
they're
Detroit's 12-2.
yeah. So if they win tonight, they're tied for the top spot in the NFC.
Yep.
Fuck.
And then we got to play these, right? These people, right? Uh as of right now, they're playing currently as we are on this video, but Justin Jefferson has over 11, almost 12. He's gonna have over 1,200. He's gonna by the end of this video, he's gonna probably have, or by the end of tonight, he's gonna probably have over 1,200 yards of receiving yards. Uh, just Jefferson is just being Jefferson. I'm not sure what else to say. He has 7 touchdowns on the season. Sam Darnold is like their game manager of the season. Like, if I love how Sam Darnold just came out of nowhere this season and just said, you know what? How about I just be great? And that's where the Vikings are, right? And here we are. The Vikings are eighth in passing yards, 15th in rushing yards, and 11th in total yards per game, compared to the Seahawks, who are sixth in passing yards. Let me just let y'all know, fans, that doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. 28th in rushing yards and 15th in total yards per game.
Damn, we dropped to sixth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Damn.
So I think that's below, yeah, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Atlanta, Detroit, and Cincinnati. No one's going to top Cincinnati in their yards because they just been throwing. Burrow has been throwing the ball over there. So, um, Jackson Smith, he's going to be our key alongside DK. Our offensive line is in shambles. We've lost we potentially might have lost our center and stuff like that
Again,
again, again,
we might have lost our
again.
our right guard is struggling again.
Again. Leonard Williams, Big Cat, is still out there being the best defensive player he can be. Kobe Bryant is our leader in interceptions on this team as of today with 3. Julian Love right behind him with 2. But Julian Love leads the team in total tackles. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say that will help push us over the hump with the Vikings, besides like the Vikings just have a bad game against us or something, because they're playing for something right now. They're second in their division, and it's very tight race between them and Detroit, because 12-2 Detroit and 11-2 with them. If they win tonight, they'll be 12-2, and they'll be tied, like you said. So, and Green Bay is 10-4 after their win on us, but the Green Bay is just going to have a nice wild card spot to their, whoever's going to be the leader in their division. So there's not much else for me to say. It's going to be a very tough game for the Seahawks. I'm just at the point this season of just let me see what we have on this roster
Yeah,
for next season.
we're kind of back there, right? Like it might get to a point, in these last. I mean, we're not even going to talk about this game. Just kind of coming down to the wire here. We might need to throw out some of our guys that have been, riding the bench for a little bit just to see.
Yeah, I'm there too. At least, hey, if Sam Howell has to go into this game, sure, at least have a full game from him, because if you could at least see what he will give you with a tough team,
The
you'll know if you
toughest.
need to keep the toughest team that we're gonna face, because we've already faced the Lions. So the only thing is we just need to know like what we have as a backup, because if what he gave us in the with Green Bay was what he has, then I mean we don't need to have him either. We'll have to like go find another veteran quarterback and then potentially draft a quarterback late in the draft, which the quarterback class in this upcoming draft is very weak, by the way. So we're gonna probably either roll with Geno again. I'm thinking too far ahead right now, but regardless, see how more just skipping over this game. So far with this game, I don't see the Seahawks winning it. It's very tough. I'm not sure what else, unless we just have a very lucky game. If we do win it, it's going to have to be through the air because the Vikings are weak against the pass, and that's all we have. But it depends who's at
Yeah,
QB and if they're fully healthy.
and not only does it depend on who's at QB, but Vikings also are seventh in the league with 39 sacks, and we just gave up 7 against Green Bay, who weren't. They don't have a line that just kind of blows you away. Like they are a very above average. They're not let's say elite in that elite category.
Hmm.
Minnesota's in that elite category with how often they're generating pressure against the quarterback. And so, with that, I think they bring a lot of guys to the house. You can pass on them, but if they're successful at getting in your face, then you're not going to have much success.
Yeah.
And
Um. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, and I was going to say as well too that they're also very good at, like you said, intercepting. So even if you do try to turn it into a shootout, they have the upper hand when it comes to taking the ball away.
They have 20 interceptions on the season. That's crazy, man. Who is their leading corner with the interceptions? Oh, Byron Murphy Jr. with 6, but then it's just spread out. Oh, Shaq Griffin is also on the team too. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a revenge game for him. I think he caught an interception. I think this past week, if not the week before. I do remember seeing a highlight for that. So I was like, oh hey, look, Shaq Griffin being successful.
Yeah, and Minnesota is an interesting team because yes, they have a good they get they I mean they're very good in certain categories and then very mid tier in other categories in terms of
Hmm.
like how much the time of possession they have, rush yards, points or yards against, passing yards against, like you said, they're egregious. Um, Total yards against, they're very much in that middle tier, but they've had a lot of success. And, a lot of that probably comes down to good offensive line play and Sam Darnold,
Hmm.
keep him within arm's reach at best. And then, Sam Darnold can, throw it to Justin Jefferson for the bajillionth score of the season. But I
It's
mean,
funny because real quick, because him and Jordan Addison are both tied in the touchdowns on the team with 7. So
yeah, and there you go. And so,
yards is different though. That's a whole different
yeah.
story.
And Sam Darnold is legitimate. He's probably going to win most comeback player of the year, whatever the award is, most improved.
Most improved probably.
I mean, if it wasn't for a guy like Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley, he might be leading the MVP candidates, or like, what I mean. He's in that conversation right now with how he's been performing this year for sure.
Oh yeah, man. This like I said, he's been the best game manager, and he's been throwing the ball and stuff. And like Justin Jefferson said, he just needed weapons.
Yeah.
He has weapons, and he's making it work. The first off, the head coach, offensive coordinator, they're doing a lot for the Vikings right now. So up against the Seahawks, we have our defense. It will hold, but if our offense can't compete in any form or fashion, we'll just eventually break under that onslaught of an offense that they have.
Yeah.
They have Aaron Jones Sr. over there, so a former Green Bay Packer. So it's like we're getting like 2 good running backs back to back. He almost has 1,000 yards on the season at 893, but right now, we're running with Sharbo, who I hope he just gets the ball more in this game. That just give him the ball more, and then it's going to open up down the field with JSN or DK and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
and a lot of that will depend on good offensive line play. Normally, we just say blanket statement trenches. It's kind of cliched for us at this point.
mhm.
I will say offensive trenches are going to be more important here because if the Minnesota defense allows you to throw the ball against them like that, then you need to have that sufficient pass protection. It really depends on if Olu is out there and if, Lamea kind of regroups himself and kind of comes
Mhm.
back because there were some snaps where he just kind of looked silly. He was just kind of ran around, spun around kind of thing. And so if he can bounce back, that'll be big. Charles Cross and Abe Lucas kind of had really not very good games either too. So like all across our offensive line last game, we didn't play quite well. If we can give some amount of, relief for our offense, then, maybe we can, we have a shot of, winning this game. But the
Do
problem
we
is,
know? Do we know like if any players coming back from injury or anything like that, like K9 or anything?
I'm not sure about K9. I saw that Gino is supposed to be practicing this week with
Hmm.
the intent of
Hmm.
coming back. I don't know what the Olu's situation is, but I haven't heard anything, which is honestly more alarming than not than hearing something something
I
else.
think they're going through tests and stuff to basically be sure, and he's probably going to go get another test.
Yeah.
It's probably that kind of thing. But I think Olu might be out for the season. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that right now. If he comes back, great. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. And so, hopefully next man up, but it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before where we've had this recent run of success and that's because our team was kind of finding it clicking at the same time, but it was held together by duct tape. And so, any sort of disturbance to that system, just completely derails it. And that's what we saw against the Green Bay Packers, right? Where we hadn't allowed that, like we allowed 7 sacks after not allowing any sacks the game prior against a pretty good Arizona Cardinals defense. And so how do you go from that to that? Maybe it's in the preparation. We didn't prepare for, maybe it's because we saw Cardinals once, we knew how to prepare for that game. But I mean, this one might come down to the coaching staff as well to prepare for this game because they looked really, they looked like they didn't know what they were doing out there for that first half at least against Green Bay.
Oh yeah, man. This is also going to be a game for Ryan Grubb. You may be without your quarterback and stuff like that. So how are you gonna, what? Obviously, you can't just say I give up, but you got to see like what can you do for the offense now that some of your pieces are going to get shuffled around. You may not have your quarterback out there, and if you don't, what are you going to do? Like,
Yeah.
what's the scheme? What are we going to run and stuff like that? And of course, it's also, I feel like McDonald's he's been like, oh, he's just been tested every week. I feel like as a head coach, he's just tested every week. So I think he's doing a good job. I'm still proud of where the Seahawks are, where they are at 8-6 right now, because it could have been worse. A lot. There was people. I think USA Today said we were supposed to be like 5-12 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's some head ass shit.
yeah. So like at least we're not showing them that like, oh hey, we don't have what it takes or anything like that. So I have nothing else to say, but I don't know. I don't think right now, if you really had to ask me who would win, I can't say Seahawks. I mean,
Yeah.
I would like to be a head ass and say Seahawks, but I can't say
I mean,
Seahawks.
Minnesota's only a 3-point favorite going into this game, but I think we've been 3-point underdogs for like the last 5 or 6 games straight.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously the Green Bay one was where it blew the doors open, but anything can happen. I don't think it's gonna play well for us. I mean, I'm hoping for the best, expecting the worst.
yeah. So, I mean, anything else, man? You got anything else?
Nope, that's all from us here at Missed Reps. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you again next time.
Peace.